on your side, wherever you go. You're watching News 12 Live at 5 continues.
Giving you a live look over downtown Augusta as we toss things over to First Alert Chief Meteorologist Riley Hale. Riley, we are looking forward to a cool down this weekend. We have so much going on.
I know it, Meredith, and luckily it's looking just about 10 minutes.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Riley. As we showed you earlier this week, crews are making progress on the Bell Auditorium. There are some major renovations happening, but what about the James Brown Arena? Well, the Coliseum Authority received a study on potentially bringing hockey back to Augusta and what that would look like in a new JBA. Our Hallie Turner joins us now live from downtown with the latest. Hallie.
Well, the JBA is known for hosting a wild card of events, from anything like a white coat ceremony for med school to comedian Kevin Hart to Disney on Ice. But back in the day, this place was the home of the Augusta Lynx. In 1998, John Whitwell moved from Niagara Falls, Canada to the Garden City for hockey. John says Augusta's a non-traditional market for a hockey team, but it worked. 60 minutes in the game of non-stop movement on the ice, more than 6,000 people in the stands of the JBA, spilling over into restaurants downtown, all putting Augusta on the map. The Lynx were around until they folded in the middle of their 11th season, and a year and a half later, the Riverhawks came into town for 3 seasons. But they left due to eroded pipes in the JBA. But John feels a third time could be the charm.
We've got a tremendous influx of people over the last 20 years in this city. It's really grown, and that's one thing that we're lacking is ice. Right now, the closest rink is about an hour away. You know, there's a lot of people that move to town, especially, you know, with the fort and, you know, the cyber center and things like that, that they're missing ice hockey and figure skating and public skating. It's not just hockey. Hockey can work anywhere if you have the right ownership group.
Now, while the talk is there aren't any solidified plans for how this would all work. But coming up all new tonight on News 12 at 6 o'clock, we'll take a look at what would have to happen to bring this back.
All right, a lot would have to happen. Thanks, Hallie. You can learn more about Augusta's history with hockey and its possible future here, too, ahead on News 12 at 6 o'clock. Georgia Governor Brian Kemp has signed an executive order extending the state of emergency for another 5 weeks. That's because of the ongoing high inflation. That will continue the suspension of the state's gas tax until November 11th. AAA says the average cost of gas in the Peach State is $3.18. It's actually one of the lowest prices in the country. There are few better ways to celebrate a Friday night during the fall than by diving into some high school football action. And we've got a great lineup of games for tonight. Our News 12 Sports Director Dan Booth joins us now to kick off our Under the Lights coverage for Week 8. Week 8 already?
You know what, Mayor? You can say that again. It's crazy how fast things have gone. And one of the best things about high school football are the traditions that are passed down from generation to generation. And I think it's safe to say that very few rivalries, if any, have the same history and passion as the 378 war between Lincoln County and Washington Wilkes. News 12's Nick Veland joins us live from Lincoln County to help us get ready for our Under the Lights game of the week between two teams who have certainly had some fun battles over the years.
Yeah, Dan, well, this one goes back to 1922, and both of these towns live for this game. Both of these teams are waiting for this one on their schedule every single season, and this game is always full of emotions. Both teams handling the pressure that comes with what both sides say is good, clean, old-fashioned hate between the two. It's only a 20-minute drive between schools, close enough for the two towns to know each other well. If you live in Lincolnton, most likely you have a friend from Washington every day, except for today. One former Lincoln County player told me in town today that he won't even answer phone calls and texts from his friends over there today. Both coaches see it this way too, and here's both coaches' take on the rivalry heading into the 86th edition of the 378 war.
This week you don't have to say a lot. You know, you don't have to mention who we're playing. The kids know this is a big deal. It's a big deal for our community. It's a big deal for our school.
A lot of people who support both kids outside of this 1 week. I don't think it's like we always pull against them or they always pull against us, but anytime it is Lincoln versus Washington, there's no love.
And both towns are packing up their cars, getting ready to come right here at Lincoln County. And coming up all new on News 12 at 6 o'clock, I'll have more on this matchup and the fresh faces that we'll be seeing tonight on the field that could make a difference in this historic rivalry.
Thank you, Nick. And we all know that these two teams have been going at it for over 100 years, and it was an easy choice for our Under the Lights game of the week. Across state lines in South Carolina, Strom Thurmond and Saluda High Schools are separated by about 20 miles. These two communities know each other exceptionally well, and so do the head football coaches on both sides. Now, Saluda's Stuart Young and Strom Thurmond's Andrew Webb played against each other in high school, and then they became close friends while attending Presbyterian College together. Years later, Young hired Webb as the offensive coordinator at Saluda, and under their leadership, the Tigers won the state championship back in 2019. Even though they'll be on opposite sidelines competing against each other tonight, this game will be the next chapter in their friendship.
Webb and I are really, really good friends, and we talk and text all the time. We still talk every day, Talked to him last night for a while. He's my friend, and for outside of this week's kind of weird, to talk to him, but that's my friend.
And stick around, because our Under the Lights coverage is just getting started. In addition to diving deeper into the trenches of the 378 War and that fun matchup between Strom Thurmond and Saluda, we've got a huge game to prepare for right here in Augusta between the Laney Wildcats and the Josie Eagles. I'll have all of that and more on News 12 at 6 o'clock.
All right, thank you, Dan. The Georgia Retailers Association says they found illegal vapes that cater to children that look like commonplace school supplies, like highlighters that are easy to get their hands on. Now they're asking for more guidance on the FDA on what can and can't be sold in Georgia schools.
It's scary. That's what some parents tell me. They say they're trying to keep their kids away from vaping, but with these disguised vapes, it's hard to know what to look for.
Last year alone, a study from the Food and Drug Administration and the Atlanta-based CDC found more than 2.5 million middle and high school students used an e-cigarette. Khalil Hunter says most of his friends vape, but he doesn't.
I don't necessarily like being around vapes.
Now vapes are taking the shape of everyday school supplies. Water bottles, highlighters, and even wearable hoodies, making it harder for parents and teachers to spot.
There are an influx of these illegal disposable vape products that are out there.
Ben Cowart with the Georgia Retailers Association shares these photos, colorful displays of flavored products. In early 2020, the FDA put restrictions on the flavors of reusable e-cigarettes to just menthol and tobacco, which are more popular with adults. But the flavor restriction didn't apply to disposable e-cigarettes.
It's very concerning with a lot of these that are coming from overseas, especially from China, on what exactly is in them.
Cowart said it's a severe health risk. According to the American Heart Association, vaping can cause lung and heart disease. He's asking for more rules and regulations from the FDA, so Georgia store owners will know what products they can and can't carry.
There's no vetting process, no approval process from the FDA, so it's really no telling what is actually in them.
Research shows that vaping can be addictive, and young adults are the highest risk group. In Atlanta, I'm Abby Kasouris.
Why do people get so excited about being scared? Yeah, why is that fun? We head to Atlanta searching for answers.
Well, it is that time of year for the scary stuff to come out and temperatures to drop, and that finally happens this weekend. We'll take a look at the full forecast just after the break.
Some breaking news to pass along. One person has died after a car accident on Highway 221 and Main Street. The accident happened just before 2:30. The Jefferson County coroner has ID'd the victim as Henry Monty, also known by the town as Mickey. He was 76 years old and, again, well known in that community. It sounds odd, people paying to scare or be scared, but every Halloween, millions of people head to horror films and haunted houses to get their fright on. Joshua Skinner looks at the appeal.
I'm not much of a Halloween guy, but there are tons of people out there who really like to be scared. So to find out why, I decided to head to...
This is not what I signed up for, but it is what Island Chance signed up for.
This will be my 12th season working at Netherworld.
And if anyone knows why people pay money to be scared, it's him.
Tonight I will be playing a frozen dead. When you're scaring them and you kind of step back a little bit, they just want to have fun.
But what could possibly be fun about this or this? Netherworld founder Ben Armstrong says it's not that complicated. In fact, it's quite the opposite.
People enjoy being scared because they get a surge of adrenaline.
Maybe that's why Netherworld just kicked off its 27th season. But the world of the haunted house is not the only thing thriving.
They're here. Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
I think horror always survives. Unlike things like westerns or gladiator movies, those are based in a specific time period. They're very genre specific. But horror spans all genres.
And for the hardcore horror fan, immersion is part of the love.
Hello, my name is Dr. Audrey Mandible.
Or maybe I should say part of the blood.
Oh, I just find somebody, like, I see, like, their ankles or some calves or something, and I'm, like, asking them, do you need those?
But through the horror and the screams and the obviously fake gore, at the end, there's a joy that bleeds through it all.
This is the best job I've ever had. I can't see myself doing anything else.
Escaping Netherworld.
Horror and scaring people is just fun.
Joshua Skinner.
They're right behind me, aren't they?
Atlanta News First.
Yeah, I don't know about haunted houses. Scary movies, maybe, because you can turn them off. But haunted houses, I don't know. Y'all can have that.
It's something you probably see about 100 times a day, but you've never actually noticed it. I'm Jamie Tucker, coming up why you should pay attention to that tiny arrow on the top of your phone screen.
It's all nuts.
Studies show people look at their smartphones up to 100 times a day. And even if you're always looking at your phone screen, you may never have noticed something important. It's how you see if someone or something is tracking your every move. Our consumer tech reporter, Jamie Tucker, takes a closer look at the tiny icon you might want to check.
What the Tech, sponsored by Augusta Preparatory Day School.
Now, this arrow is almost always on your screen, right there on the status bar next to the time on an iPhone. What is it and what does it mean? It means something is following you. The arrow represents an app that's currently tracking your location. If it's on the screen, an app on your phone knows where you are and where you're going. There are some apps that need your location to be functional. Apple Maps, Google Maps, Waze, weather apps. Apps help you find restaurants, coffee shops, movie theaters. But then there are a lot of apps that have no business knowing where you are, but they track you anyway. In Settings, go to Privacy and Security, then Location Services to see which apps track your location. A purple arrow means that the app has recently tracked your location, while a gray arrow means your location was tracked by the app within the last 24 hours. The camera app, for example, can see your location every time you take a photo. But a radio station app, Pinterest, the news app Flipboard, maybe not. Here you can change which apps have access to your location. You can change the settings from always to never or while using the app. I suggest changing some of them to ask next time or when you share. System services on iPhones and Android devices require your location for things like Find My, emergency calls, automatically changing time zones, maybe most importantly, connecting to the nearest cell tower. Others, you may want to say, stop following me. That's What the Tech. I'm Jamie Tucker.
Lots of kids suffer concussions, but it can be difficult to know who will have long-term symptoms and who can safely return to sports. Well, now doctors are taking a new approach on how to treat someone with a concussion.
I used to think that rest was the best medicine for concussion, but research has shown us that actually an active rehabilitation approach is the best way to get people better faster. Some of the things we might do would be to put a child through an exercise progression, through some cognitive testing, through a series of concussion-specific physical exam maneuvers.
And if a concussion specialist is not available to you, doctors do say a team approach with the input from a pediatrician, athletic trainer, and school nurse is best.
Well, this Saturday is the Oliver Hardy Festival in Harlem. Starts at 9 a.m. and goes until 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Should be very comfortable temperature-wise in the 60s and 70s there in downtown Harlem. Now look at our 7-day forecast just after the break. Welcome back, folks. A live look down towards the Savannah River. This is looking towards the Georgia side of the river from our Thurman Dam cam. We got a couple people on the jet ski just now getting out of the shot there, but a beautiful afternoon so far for us. We are looking at some cloud cover moving in from the west, but we are still ahead of a cold front, so still pretty warm this afternoon. We actually did see high temperatures back in the mid-80s today. A couple of great events happening at the lake this weekend. So we have the Mr. Clark Hill tournament that continues tomorrow, and weigh-in will be at Wildwood Park starting at 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. And then Sunday is going to be, or Saturday and Sunday is going to be the 69th annual Halloween Regatta put on by the Augusta Sailing Club. Great sailing weather Saturday, steady northwest wind between 10 to 15 miles an hour. So should be some pretty quick moving sailboats on the lake out there Saturday. Sunday it will be cooler, high temps up at the lake staying in the 60s, but that wind should calm down for us. Quick look at our radar now where you can see what's west of us. This is trying to push our way, but really falling apart. I can't say that rain chances are 0%, but very low, folks. Don't let 15% rain chance keep you from enjoying great events out there tonight and tomorrow.
All right, thanks for that, Riley. And thanks for joining us for News 12 Live at 5, News 12 at 6 o'clock. Coming your way in just a minute. Richard Rogers in the studio now, about to take over.